Recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lucie's Inspiring Stories. I'm Lucie Rosa-Stagi, your host, and today I invite you to reflect on a powerful question. What if the very thing you fear most is the doorway to your greatest purpose? My guest today, Janet Perez-Eckles, knows that journey intimately. At just 31 years old, Janet lost her sight, but instead of losing her direction, she discovered a deeper vision, one rooted in resilience, faith, and purpose. And today, she is an award-winning author, an international keynote speaker, and a voice of transformation, impacting lives across the world. So please welcome Janet. Janet, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Lucy. Thank you for that kind introduction. It's great to be with you.
It's such an honor to have you here. Believe me, it's an honor for me.
Thank you. And being blind, I think you can see me, right?
Oh, of course, I can see you beautifully. It says janeteckles.com. Janet, yes, it has all
But,
the information in your background. It's beautiful.
but you see me too?
Oh no, now I can't.
Uh, oh,
I
you
know I
can't?
now I only see your name. Okay, now I see you.
Okay.
Great.
Those are the drawbacks of being blind. We have to rely on somebody else's eyesight. But you know what? It's okay because we make it work, right?
You are an amazing woman. I mean, you're a keynote speaker. Nothing stops you. I
Oh,
admire you so much. You're such an
thank
inspiration to so
you.
many people. I've got goosebumps that I have this honor to speak to you. So,
Thank
well,
you.
I have a few questions for you. For me, I always want to know the exact moment of things, of what happens to
Yeah.
people. That exact moment that you realized that your life was about to change forever.
Oh, wow.
Take me
Yes.
back to that moment, that exact moment.
Yes, we all have those moments. And for me, I even remember when I was worrying because sometimes it can be so traumatic, life-changing, really. And that happened to me one morning when I woke up. I was diagnosed with the disease of the retina, and I was
Mhm.
losing my sight slowly. But then, after a few months, the nobody's losing my sight was more evident, and I thought, what is going on? So, of course, I went to different ophthalmologists, herbal healers, acupuncturists, hoping someone would give me some hope, telling me that we managed to halt the progression of the disease, but no one could. So that Monday morning, I remember even the day, and it was a cold winter morning in St. Louis. I woke up and the nightmare came true, but it was worse than I expected. I opened my eyes, and that sliver of sight I had left for months closed in completely, leaving me in total darkness.
Wow.
And I think that was the moment where I realized, I have to worry about my future. Do I want to live the rest of my life being blind? But what was really worrying me is my three little boys.
Of
They
course.
needed me. They were 3, 5, and 7 years old, and
Oh my
they
God.
needed their mommy. And
Exactly.
I thought, how can I take care of them? How can I be a mom to them, unable to see even where they are or what they're up to, or to fix their meals or bathe them? And so that was a concern of mine that really brought on a certain type of hopelessness
Right.
and anger. Why me? Why now? It was only 30 with
Right.
my whole life ahead of me, and there I was totally blind. So
So
that,
really, the hardest emotional battle for you that you faced at the time was how you were going to take care of your children, right? I mean,
yes,
that had to be the hardest.
absolutely.
Oh my
Yes, it was hard because I was the kind of mom that I would, my children were like, after God, my children were my priority.
Right.
I would, give my life to them, and I wanted to be the best mom I could. But now without sight, how would I do it? And Lucy, at that very same time, sometimes when storms come your way, they really come very violently. At
Mhm.
that time, my husband, who was also 30, couldn't handle that trauma in our marriage. He could tell I was losing my sight, and I thought he'd be supportive. He never really shared his concerns. until one day he came home and he said, we need to talk. He took me by the hand. We got in the car, we took a drive, and that's when he confessed to me that he had somebody else in his life, that he was not happy with the marriage.
My God.
So those two episodes back to back really made me wonder, what will become of me? What will I ever do by myself with these little boys? And you know what else was inside my heart? I thought, well, no wonder he's going to leave me. Who wants to be married to a blind person, right? I wasn't the healthy, nice-looking young woman he married. I was now blind, and I didn't blame him, but yet the pain just seared. My heart was just broken.
Oh my
I
God.
was really devastated.
Absolutely. I can't.
And yeah, for one of those would have been enough, right?
Yeah, one is enough. One is enough to say, God, do I want to live? But two, this is like too much. Oh my God. When you lost your sight, it was hard enough, but to then your marriage fall apart when you have three children, what are you
Yeah.
going to do? And you're blind. I mean, I don't know what I would have done.
Well,
But
I tell you what I did. Go ahead. You had a
but
question?
I know because I know where you are today. So I want to talk about the turning point where that fear, I mean, you had to be in great fear. What was that turning point where that fear began to transform into purpose for you?
Yes, and that's exactly what happened. That fear, that resentment, that anger, and that just desperation
Hmm.
turned to an amazing, amazing purpose for my life. And let me tell you how it happened. A friend invited me to her church,
Hmm.
and that's where I heard a pastor preach. And I remember hearing this, to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Now, Lucy, I really didn't know the Bible, so that didn't really make sense to me. How do you seek something you can't see? For me, literally. But then I remember the promise, all these things shall be added unto you. And that's when I realized it was almost like an awakening moment. I realized that I didn't have to seek to be able to see again, for my marriage to be whole again, for my husband to come back. What I needed to seek was God. I had sought him before. And when I did, everything changed. I put on a headset and I started reading the Bible, listening to the Bible day in, day out. And what I learned was that I was created for a purpose.
Hmm.
God had plans for me. It didn't matter whether I was sighted or not. It didn't matter whether I was married or single. There was a purpose specifically for me. And that's when I decided that my blindness would not define who I was.
Right.
It would not define my future, and it would not define the kind of mother I would be. You see, I had a new vision. I lost my sight, but I didn't lose my
Your
ability to
way.
see.
Yeah.
Yes, I could see in the horizon that I
Yeah.
would be able to somehow take care of my little guys. And I did. I taught them to have a sense of humor. Sometimes they would trick me. And, my little one, my Joe, would go under the covers head first. And I'd lean over to kiss him goodnight because he's real quiet. And I would kiss his feet. And I would say, you little stinker, get out of there. And I would pinch his cheek and he'd laugh and I would laugh too. I wanted them to
Yeah.
be able to accept my blindness. And so, and then my husband saw the difference in me. I was in this poor, pitiful, oh my goodness, I'm blind. What am I going to do? Because I figured out how to cook, how to clean, how to do everything at home. And I had to do it differently, obviously, but I still was getting everything done. And there was something that happened inside of me, Lucy, and that is joy came back.
Oh.
Joy because I could see with the eyes of my heart. And I remember my little guy came in one time, and Joe, he always wanted to know everything. He'd say to me, one afternoon in the kitchen, he said, Mommy, will you be able to see tomorrow?
Oh. Huh?
And I said, I got down on my knees and I heard held his little chubby cheeks in my hand. And I said, Baby, I'm going to be able to see tomorrow the same way I see today, with the eyes of my heart.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I would,
What
and
was
that's what
his
happened.
reaction?
Well, I think knowing him, he just shrugged his shoulders and
Yeah,
said,
right.
okay.
Okay, that's
And
an
the
answer.
reason why is because they saw how I prepared their meals.
Right.
And I remembered him telling his little friend when he didn't think I was listening, he said, my mommy has eyes at her fingertips because he saw me feeling for everything. So my life really, Lucy, ended up being such a blessing. And even more today that I can travel across the world and teach business leaders and business women that, life doesn't mean you're going to be free from storms and trouble.
No,
It's when you recognize that those storms can reveal the strength within you.
right.
And that's what happened to me. And of course, more things happen through my life, but that's been my motto. Storms come, but I come out stronger. Yeah.
Wonderful. You're also known as the excuse eraser. What does that truly mean to
I
you?
remember I was giving a keynote for a large international conference, and the
Uh-huh.
year previous to that, John C. Maxwell had keynoted that event. And
Mhm.
I was a little nervous. I thought, oh my goodness, do I measure up? He's beyond my league, and here I am keynoting this event. But I learned that in that audience, there were some people from Japan attending it, and I knew a little Japanese. So I walked on stage and I greeted them all in Japanese. Oh
Oh,
my goodness,
geez.
they just swore, they applied. And I shared all the things I went through, and I shared the success I had in spite of everything. So the VP came after they gave me a standing ovation, and the VP came to the mic and he said, I think we can all say Janet is the perfect excuse eraser.
And you are. I mean, you are. It's unbelievable. You do have sight at the end of at the tips of your fingers. I do
Right.
believe that. He was so right. Oh my God. How can someone turn adversity into a leadership advantage? You've done this, so
Yes.
how
You
can
know how you do it? You do it through experience. I remember getting my first job as I followed a career in the language interpretation field. I thought, how could I compete with people who are sighted? But I thought, with me, there's nothing that's impossible because God goes with me. So I went ahead and applied. I didn't tell them I was blind. The interview was on the phone. I didn't tell them because they never asked.
right?
But I decided that what I would do is go beyond what the call of duty would be for me. I began to interpret, and I did it the best way I could. I didn't have any visual distractions, so my concentration was high. But I wanted to go beyond that. I wanted to see what ways I could contribute to the company. And so I presented a plan for me to be able to follow the interpreter's performance because then they had me, they promoted me to senior language specialist. They had me lead teams. Now, I don't know why they did it. I guess they forgot I couldn't see, but I had to figure out how to go through the material, and empower these groups of people to help them remove the blindfold of discouragement.
Right.
So that's when I decided maybe there's something I can offer, to business leaders, to women who are in the business world who feel overwhelmed and feel like life is too much and inside they're falling apart, especially today with so many troubles that we're
Absolutely.
facing.
Yeah. Hmm.
But then that's when I decided if I could just help and serve them. Well, I didn't know I was speaking to leaders, but serving them in that way by example, what has been so, so rewarding. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. You must have a daily mindset practice. Do you
Yeah.
have one of those that helps you, build your confidence, rebuild your confidence,
Yeah.
keep you confident?
I'll tell you my secret, Lucy.
Okay, great.
People ask me that all the time. Whenever I have TV interviews, they ask me this. And this is what I tell them. The secret, if you don't remember anything I said, the secret is gratitude.
Oh, you're right.
I don't wake up in the morning thinking, oh my goodness, I have to, pack my bags and, I'm taking off for another speaking engagement. How am I going to pack? Where's my food? My clothes? Where's my makeup? I don't wake up doing that. I wake up saying, thank you. Thank you, God, that I have one more opportunity to inspire people, to empower them, and to show them that they don't have to sink under adversity, they can become stronger. So gratitude. And there have been so many things that happened to me at airports. Uh, People that have not shown up to pick me up when they thought and that I was stuck. I was in another country this time. And I thought, what am I going to do? I can't take a cab. I don't know where I'm at. Well, I don't
Yeah,
know where I'm going.
exactly.
But guess what I did? I thought, you know what? I'm going to be grateful. Grateful because I know God has a plan for me, and I know that somehow this is going to work out.
Oh,
Grateful that I have a mind to think,
Wow.
Grateful that I have the wisdom to make the decisions. And see, when you have gratitude, there's no room for fear, there's no room for stress. And that's been my motto, really. I give thanks for everything and in all circumstances. Yeah.
Oh my God Almighty. You're just such an inspiration. What is the one truth that you want every listener here to remember about their own potential?
Wow. Let me think about that. I think that one thing they have to absolutely have to do is look beyond their limitations. Do you know the biggest limitation for us is up here?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you just know that what if I take that step, what's the worst thing that can happen? If I fail, I would have learned a lesson. And that's been like that with me. How could a blind person write a book? And I thought to myself, well, just try it. So I wrote my first book about 20 years ago, and I've written five since then because I thought people say that blind people can't write, but I have
You have a
somewhat
mind.
of an ability to read.
Yeah,
Right. So don't see an obstacle as a limitation. See an obstacle as an opportunity to
right.
be able to hone in your creativity, to be able to build your tenacity, and to defy the odds. Because to me, nothing is impossible. The only thing is impossible is to fail and not learn anything.
Right.
See, that you can do. You can fail and become stuck and feel bad, but uh, it doesn't have to be that way. For me, that's impossible. I've failed several times, but I get right back up.
And that's what builds your resiliency. I mean, that's how we become stronger. And
Yeah.
and really, when you think of it, nobody's coming to help you. You just got to help yourself. You got to be the, and I love the fact that you say, think beyond your limitations.
Yes.
That's hard to do, but
Right, because this world says to me, the world says, well, I'm blind. I can't possibly travel by myself to other countries. I can't write. I can't get in front of 2,000 people and uplift them and encourage them because I can't even have eye contact with them.
yeah,
But you know what? Those would be excuses.
you are the excuse eraser. You
That's
are.
right. Yes. And people say to me after I finish speaking, they come to the book table and they say, Janet, are you sure you can't see? Because from the stage, you were looking straight at me. So I don't connect with their eyes, but I connect with their hearts. And see,
Right,
people right now, they're going through storms. They're going through tough times, and they just want to say, show me, how do I overcome it? How do I thrive? And how can I be successful in spite of that? Because you see, sometimes circumstances don't have to change for
right.
you to be successful, for you to rise above. For me, my blindness is still there. And as you know, my other tragedy, the fact that my son was stabbed 23 times and was killed, and the man responsible went home free, that hasn't changed. But I
Mm,
learned the power to rise above through forgiveness, through perseverance, through courage, and through faith. And I think that's what makes a leader strong and
right.
determined. An
Absolutely.
exemplary, really.
My God, Janet, your story reminds me, certainly us, I'm sure, that sometimes life removes what we depend on so we can discover who we truly are.
So true. I always say, Lucy, yes, it does. Storms sometimes can bring you down and stop you, or
Mhm.
storms can reveal that strength within you. And
Mhm.
often the very thing that you thought would break you becomes the source of your greatest strength.
Right,
See, that's what it means. What I thought would disqualify me qualified me to do what I do today.
right. Oh my God. Friends, I want to talk to my audience for a minute. If this conversation touched your heart, I want you to ask yourself, what fear in your life might actually be guiding you toward your purpose? And I'd like
So,
for you to share that in the comments because Janet and I would love to hear from you.
yes,
Janet,
yes.
tell me, for people who want to contact you, what is the best way for them to do so?
Well, the best way is for them to get the gift I have for them.
Oh,
So
how
you would
cool.
simply go to giftfromjanet.com, or if you see the QR code behind me, is it there?
It is there.
Just
I-
scan that QR code and you'll get right there. And the free gift is my third book titled Contagious Courage, Your 30-Day Journey to Overcoming Stress and Anxiety. And that is my gift to them.
Oh, so folks, giftfromjanet.com. Is
That's
that
how.
that's it?
Yes.
Giftfromjanet.com. That's it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
or take your phone and scan that QR
Yes.
code that you see
And
right
if
in front of us.
Yeah, and if they contact me, they'll be signed up to my special blogs that I send to inspire them, my videos. That's, I think that's my middle name, to inspire, but not for the moment, but to transform their mindset so that no matter what they face, they're going to see a better way. They're going to see a new horizon and they're going to see beyond their potential to that life that's abundant and fulfilling more than what they imagine. So what a joy it is and a privilege to do that.
Oh my God. I folks, do not worry. I'll share all of Janet's social media when I do the replay for all of you. So don't worry if you didn't get some of the information. The replay will be up soon. So Janet, I want to thank you for your courage, your light, your message. And I know that you're an inspiration to me, and I'm sure that you're an inspiration to everybody who's listening to you. So, do you have a last word for us?
I think the last word would be we're living in tough times,
Hmm.
and suicide, fear, anxiety, and depression are at all-time high. But you know what? You can be different. You can be different if you know that what's in you is greater than what's outside you. Because it doesn't really matter what's going on around us on the outside. What happens is what's going on inside of you.
Hmm.
You have the ability to face each day with gratitude, with purpose, and with the determination to face the challenges and turn them into your strength.
Thank you. And to everyone watching, I want you to remember, if Janet can rise, so can you. So
That's right.
until next time, this is Lucie Rosa-Stagi with Lucie's Inspiring Stories.